Welcome in, Yankees family. I'm your guy Gio, joined every week with my co-host Tyler. Tyler, how you feeling, brother?
Not bad. How are you?
Not too bad, man. It's been a good week. It's been a good month for the Yankees. Um, it's September. It's starting to get cold outside. This is my weather, hoodie weather. You know what I'm saying? This is where I like to take my walks and my hikes. That heat, I love the heat and all. Don't get me wrong. I like it when it's hot. Go to the beach, go to the pool. But fall and spring, that's me.
Yeah, today felt like a spring day. Rainy, kind of warm, but just so damp and
Yeah.
muggy.
That was this hangover from the hurricane is the only thing that I can kind of say. It's been a little bit of a downer, but what's not a downer is the New York Yankees. Let's take care of some homework really quickly before we move on. If this is your first time on the channel, please leave hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you get updated whenever we have a new video every week. So Tyler, since they called up the kids, we talked about Jason Dominguez getting his now Tommy John. We knew it was a tear, but now it's the Tommy John. The Yankees have been 11-5 since calling up the kids since September 1st. We talked a little bit backstage before we got on. What could have been if the Yankees did not lose those 9 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean that's what. Not just that, but how's going to be like if Rizzo didn't have a concussion for 4 months and we played him, and if Judge didn't get injured, uh, we would have been in a playoff spot. I mean, same thing if Ordon was probably healthy. There's so many different factors that could have had them in a playoff spot, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not. And yeah, it's time to not make excuses and just move forward and make some moves that are going to help us win in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's no excuse making, but to be fair, if Aaron Judge didn't get hurt, if Rizzo didn't get hurt, if John Carlos Stanton would have just been half of who his back of his baseball card, and Carlos Rodon and Sevy would have been halfway decent, we probably would not be in fourth place. Last time we talked, we were in last place. We are in the cellar. It's I forgot what movie it was. That was it. I forgot what movie it was when they were rooting to get into third place, and that's where we are right now, just like third place. Oh, Mr. 3000, third place, third place, third place, third place, third place. Like that's just this is pretty much our season, just trying to get to third place. But yeah, if you play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game, there's a lot of things that you can look at and say, all right, that really tipped the scale. Me, most recent is what you mentioned backstage, that 9 game losing streak, really, because if we didn't go on that skid, even if we split, let's say we went 4-5 or 5-4, we will literally be in a playoff spot right now. Like we will be 3 games back of a last place wild card with what 14 games left. Like that's doable.
Yeah, I mean, we still kind of we play spoiler this week coming up here, playing Toronto 6 times. Uh, I would like to see the Yankees not get curb stomped by them, but the game matter. I'm happy to see Esteban Florial finally get his. He's been taking his walks, getting some hits, not bad. Also, started to drive the ball a little bit more, which is nice to see. So yeah, there's a couple of spots. Pereira missed the whole Pittsburgh series. I think he's having a little bit of a leg issue. Forget what exactly it was, but rookies are playing, giving us some hope, giving us something to watch. It's like I said months ago. It couldn't be worse than what they were throwing out there, and not. They're
That's the caveat, right? And this is either gonna I think this is going to play against Cashman because he didn't want to bring up the kids, right? He didn't want to bring up the kids. And then Hal made him. So if he would have done this earlier, if he would have done this by say at the All-Star break and brought up some of these kids, brought up Probably not Dominguez because Dominguez really wasn't hot until you know August. So you probably wouldn't want to bring him up at the All Star break. Not the sorry, the trade deadline. Excuse me, the trade deadline. Pereira, Peraza, maybe Austin Wells. You would have brought these guys up. We could have been in a different situation. That 9-game skid that we went on, we probably would never went on. We could have been solidifying ourselves for that last wild card spot. But to be honest, 100% honest with you, even if we did do that, I don't think this team can win a World Series. They don't have that World Series cornerstone, that core with them. You have Aaron Judge, you have Garrett Cole. Those are great two pieces, but it's similar to like the Angels, right? You have Otani and Shohei. Like, those are the only two big pieces you have. Then you have a bunch of quote unquote names, but they're also hurt. This feels like a rich man's Angels.
Yeah. I'm just happy to see Peraza starting to produce.
Mm-hmm.
He had a nine game hit streak here. He lost it yesterday, but still had 2 walks. So, he was on base 2 times. That's good to see. In September, he's still batting 309, which is good to see. He hadn't walked up until yesterday, so it's good to see him taking a couple more pitches. A lot of positive signs out of his bat. It's funny, as soon as he brought back his leg kick, that you know the Yankees like to break stuff. They don't follow the if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Nope.
They always try to tinker, always trying to get that next level. When this guy was driving the ball and hitting like a maniac in AAA, and then they're like, "Oh, you've been doing that for 10 years? Let's try something new against our
Nah.
pitchers that you're not used to."
Yeah, see, the Yankees' problem was that he doesn't take the ball the other way, which you don't. If you look at his Statcast, everything's to the left side, everything he pulls. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, really. Not out of a rookie. That's something that he will develop over time. Like, you work on stuff like that during the off season. Like, you don't tinker with a man's leg kick so that he can start driving the ball the other way. Like, let him do what made him successful, and then incrementally over the next couple off seasons, you have him work with another righty that's been really good at taking the ball the other way, i.e. Derek Jeter, and sit there and say, "Hey, Jeet, can you, couple times during this winter go down to, I don't know where he vacations or he stays during the off season, but Colombia, or have him come to Florida to, the Yankees Tampa complex, and work with him, teach him how to that opposite field approach, and that's how you handle that situation. You allow it to progressively happen over the off season, and then you try things in spring training. That's when you fucking do this. The no leg kick, spring training, see what works, what doesn't, and then whatever's most comfortable for the player, he sticks with. They did this with Glaber. They tried to do it with Judge, and Judge told them to shove it, leave me alone, don't mess with my swing. I got a guy. Like, don't, and it's how hiring this outside consultant agency. I think it's going to be interesting because I think Hal's going to get a lot of information that he probably already knows but doesn't want to hear, and it'll be interesting if it ever gets out, because if it ever gets out of what was told to Hal after this audit, and they say, well, you have the oldest GM, the most tenured GM in the league when no one else believes in that. Your analytics is what? Hit the ball hard, but what's your biggest problem? Often, maybe we should change that. Your head medical personnel, he's not even on the premises. He's not there to treat these guys. They have to fly back to New York to see him. They have to put in a ZocDoc appointment to go see this man. It's so many things wrong with this team. And hopefully these auditors address this, bring it up. They audit, and he makes a lot of changes because Cashman has had too much control. I think the biggest thing that we have learned this season is that one person should not have so much control over an entire org. It really should be delegated. He should be removed as president of baseball operations and just be a GM if you don't want to fire him, and let someone else run the org and change the philosophy and go through and rebuild this thing. Because I was looking at it yesterday. The AAA, AA, and the MLB, all of their averages combined are all below 250. It's an organizational problem, non-hitting.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean this third party is going to tell him, "Hey, the only team worse on offense than you has been Oakland. So the difference between you and Oakland has been Aaron Judge."
Oh,
Um, Now to bring a little positive light to the situation, the minor league pitching has been incredible
yes, it
at
has.
all levels, and I keep seeing stuff about the CL,
Hmm.
which is the Pacific Coast League. Correct me
Yeah,
if I'm incorrect, but this is like rookie ball. But apparently, they got all sorts of talent down there, which is probably 3, 4, or 5 years away. But some real deal
pitching could be
talent.
closer. Pitching could their timetable is a little shorter than hitters.
Yeah, I forget his name, but I think there was a real tall lefty down there who was really impressing. I'd see him jump up to like double A probably by the end of next year. But couple things I wanted to bring up. I wish Volpe had a good August, not a great July, and a good June. I really wish he finished this year a little stronger. And you're talking about Peraza only hitting it to left field. Now, Volpe has the power to the opposite field, and he showed that yesterday to tie the game against the Pirates, right center. But he's still pulling around everything, and he's not staying slider away, and he's not taking the other way. And I like your thoughts about like Derek Jeter. Just bring them in with Derek Jeter. Tell them to be right here and just pepper it the other way. Teach them how to hit. They don't know how to hit. They're just swinging.
Yeah, and that's just one of the many that you can bring in, like the Willie Randolphs, the even Jorge, you, even though Paul O'Neill was a lefty, you can even think about Paul when Buck Showalter was here, he wanted Paul O'Neill to hit home runs. That's it. Just put the ball in the seats, and his average suffered. When Joe Torre took over, he said, "Listen, Paulie, do what makes you feel comfortable. If you want to just spray the ball all over the place, focus on contact, do that. The home runs will come." And look, it did. Sometimes it's not about putting a perception or changing a hitter's approach. Is sometimes just allowing them to be comfortable. Like just let them be them. And you know what? Sometimes it all will work out. Like Paul didn't want to hit home runs. He wanted to hit for contact. He switched his mindset and stuck to his guns. And boom, he became a home run guy. And he still hit over 300. So it's one of those situations, man, where you can bring in a bunch of people and just talk about this hitting philosophy and just the approach of this, the non-selfishness of what baseball needs to be, because it is a roster of 26 men. This is not football where the quarterback, if you have a good quarterback, you can win, 9 games easy, right? As long as you have a good defense, you can win games. This is not basketball. You get one LeBron James or 2, 3 players, and no, you could win 70 games. This is baseball. We have one of the best players in the world, and we're still what, fourth place team. So hey,
Yeah, they need to coach the guys to be ball players,
yeah,
like nitty gritty ball players, guys who are hustling, playing defense, and making smart baseball decisions and swings and moving the runner over. Fundamentals. I don't know if Boone knows what a fundamental is. Um, yeah,
yeah. Boone is a lost cause because you have to think of it, and I think Pete said this earlier, and I 100% agree with it. I never really thought about it. I thought about it, but I never put it this way. Where they got rid of Girardi because he didn't want he wanted to run the team his way, like Dusty Baker runs his team, Alice Cora. These guys don't want that interference with the front office. Aaron Boone hired somebody that was inexperienced, didn't know what he was really doing, so he can say, "Don't worry, we'll help you. We'll give you everything. We'll make the lineups. We'll tell you who to pitch. We'll tell you when to take them out. All you got to do is be these guys' best friends. Make them feel good. Rub their feet. Stroke their hair when they're upset. Bake them cookies and have your wife come in and serve them cocktails in her undies so that they all feel great at all times. Like that's all they need." And because he was inexperienced and probably really, really wanted to coach the New York Yankees, he said yes and sold his soul to the devil. Now
Mm.
this is the situation we're living in now. Now we have a manager that probably was a really good baseball guy, probably was really knowledgeable when he first started. Now it's just tainted because he never got a chance to really manage. And if say they even reeled in the reins a little bit on Boone, can you really trust him now to run this org or this team or this roster the right way? Because he's been whitewashed, brainwashed, whatever, however you want to say it, to the Cashman way. So I don't know. I really hope there's changes. I think that's the big point of my spiel. Is we keep talking about it, and there's tons of different things they need to change, but mindset I think is the number one thing that has to change this offseason. Mindset. We can't run it back. If we run this shit back, Tyler, I am going to quit baseball. I'm not, but I mentally I'm gonna quit baseball. Like I'm just gonna quit this team because it's insanity.
Let's talk pitching.
Yeah,
Let's talk something positive here.
yeah.
So let's break down the starting pitching one by one.
Okay, you start. Give me the list because
So
I'm not looking at the roster.
so I really wanted to talk about Michael King.
Oh,
Now, I I think he's gonna make a solid starting pitcher. And I think I don't think I know he's given up about the amount of runs as Clark Schmidt and has system's a lot better than Clark Schmidt. And they're kind of that same kind of build there. Kind of like sinker with the kind of sweeper. And if you have Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and I think Rodon's looked a lot better recently. He threw a couple of sliders the other day that were filthy.
mm-hmm.
And he threw 100 a couple of times, even in the later innings, so that was great. I I think he's gonna have a big bounce back year next year.
I already
Um,
called it 2024. Carlos Rodon, Cy Young, back to back Yankees.
so after Rodon, you got Nestor. I'm kind of concerned about his health. He's kind of built more to be a reliever, and he's had injuries in the past. It would have been great to sell high after his amazing last year, but just like Cashman always does, a little too late. But I mean, everybody would have revolted if he got traded. But let's say Nestor's in the fourth spot, put King in the fifth spot,
Mm.
and then Schmidt would be the three. But I'm really sold on Yamamoto. I'm really sold on him. I loved Tanaka. Now you can't compare the two, other than they're both coming from Japan. I think Yamamoto has a lot better stuff, and he's going to get paid more. But if they can get Yamamoto and trade Schmidt and say like Pereira and others for a big time bat, I don't think Soto's going to be available. I don't know who else is. You got to make some smart trades. Got to move some money around. And I mean, even if you don't sign Yamamoto, I'd take Garrett Cole, Rodon, Nestor, and King, and you can still trade Schmidt, but you can hold on Schmidt for the fifth spot. You have tons of pitching, AAA, and Vasquez has looked great out of the bullpen and as a starter. He still has a 2.56 ERA over 31 innings. Johnny Brito, since pitching the bullpen, he kind of can take that king spot that he was playing. But Johnny Brito has looked great in the bullpen. I think his ERA is around one out of the bullpen. And, the Yankees have done a kind of a poor job at developing homegrown pitching that sticks at the major league level. Recently we've had Schmidt. Before that, we had Severino, maybe Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to do an awful good job at bringing up starters and then kind of putting them in relief, kind of having them their stuff kind of play up for 2 or 3 innings, and they succeed. So maybe that's kind of a pathway they kind of explore with some of these guys, kind of getting their footing in the majors as a reliever. Maybe they pitch 2 or 3 innings on the mound, but you can also kind of throw them in the pen after that to keep them stretched out if you really want them to be a starter in the long term. I don't know. People bring up the job of Chamberlain thing, and that's very possible to happen. But a lot of these guys, you know, never pitched more than 130, 140 innings, so kind of got to ease them in there, or else their arms are going to fall off.
Yeah, the job of Chamberlain, Phil Hughes, that group of guys, that was a different era of Yankees. Their 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 pitcher philosophy's completely changed since then. You said a lot, so let me just focus on the pitching, starting rotation. So the first part you said was Mike King. I like what I'm seeing of Michael King. I think he can stick. I'm just worried that it's just September. Don't take stock in stats in April and September. They don't tell the full story of a player. It's really those in between months, month to March to May to August. But I have faith. I have faith that he will be a good pitcher. I just need to see more. Like I need to see a full season. I need to see 2024 Mike King on the mound. Right now, Mike King has done enough in my eyes to earn a competition for the rotation in spring training. He's earned enough where he has to not. He's not going into 2024 as a bullpen arm. He's going in for a spot in the rotation. Regards to everyone else, man, like Carlos Rodon, I'm starting to think that he is figuring it out. I made a joke earlier. I was like, his spin rate was the highest it's been all season. I forgot in whose chat. I was just like, is that sticky stuff? Question mark. But no, I don't think it is. I think it's just he's finally getting into form. He hasn't pitched when he signed the contract, he really didn't pitch in what 6 months. So, he's finally after a couple months in, finally getting into the groove of pitching. So now we're seeing who Carlos Rodon is and why we got him. So my eyes, I just want him to finish the rest of this month really strong, go into the offseason with confidence, knowing that all right, maybe I do need to be a 4 pitch pitcher. Like the book is out on me. The AL East is a different league. It's not the NL. And it's not the Central where I can get by with 2 pitches. The East, I kind of these guys are dogs here and they do their homework. I need 4 pitches. And hopefully Andy Pennant coming into the fold helps him out. He teaches him that cutter. They continue to work on that changeup and the curveball. And he just becomes a more complete pitcher. He doesn't have to throw them, equally amount, but if he can be, 40% fastball, 40% slider, and 10% curve and 10% changeup, that just makes the hitters have to be a little bit more cognizant of, it might not be that slider. It might be that changeup. It might be, that decisiveness of knowing that it's not a 50-50 guess. And his fastball was finally rising. Yamamoto, I'm trying to make this quick. Yamamoto, absolutely, we need him in this rotation. Because Severi's gone in my eyes. There's no need to bring him back. Nestor Cortez, I feel like should be gone. There's no need to bring him back. It's gonna be hard to trade him. He's been injured all season, so maybe you rehab him. You let him get a roster, a rotation spot. Deadline, you trade him. Then you have a competition for 4 and 5. Those 4 and 5 spots. You got Cole, Rodon, Yamamoto, Nestor, and that fifth spot. Michael King, Clark Schmidt. He's definitely earned a right to be the fifth starter. He's had a great season. Not a great season. He's had a good season for a rookie, going a whole season, no injuries, no hiccups. Yeah, his ERA is around league average, but you know what? That's what you want out of a fifth starter. To be honest, get you into the fifth or sixth innings, give you opportunity to win a game, and go from there, man. You have Brito, you have Vasquez, you have Beater, you have tons of weapons in the bullpen. This is one of the Yankees' strength. I think them acquiring Matt Blake really changed the pitching landscape for the Yankees. The Yankees need to look at that same lens and say, I think they thought it was what's his name, Dylan Lawson, was going to be the catch up to Matt Blake's mustard. Just didn't work. So now they need to revamp that and find a guru for hitting, man. Find a guy that can revamp this organization, their whole hitting philosophy, the whole hitting school of the organization, and get these guys start developing bats. Like I keep saying it, the way to build successful franchises is you buy pitching, you buy starting pitchers in the open market. All of your hitting, your 90% of your lineup should be homegrown, cheap bats. And then you every couple years you get a free agent to supplement. You need a big lefty. There's a signing. Bring him in as a free agent. You need a big righty. You sign him, bring it in. But everything else is coming from your organization. Tampa does it every year. So many teams do it every year. So pitching, I'm not worried about. We need bats. We need offense. That's really our Achilles heel. We're fucking negative 13 run differential. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Bring in some offense, but I do want the kids to develop. Yeah.
The kids will develop. They're finally giving the kids a chance, which is good.
Yeah.
I really just wish that, Judge is a rich man. He got $40 million a season. There's no reason why he can't call up his hitting coach and say, yo, let's during the offseason, I'm gonna get a little house for us in Florida for me, Volpe, Peraza, Pereira, Florial, Dominguez, and let's live in a house for 2 months, and let's have my hitting coach come by and break down everyone's swing, and we go to work this winter so these young boys can come spring training and just light it up. I would love to see all these guys stick and have just a young team, just a bunch of rookies in that lineup. Austin Wells, Dominguez won't start the season, but Volpe, Peraza, Pereira, have all these dudes, even Oswaldo Cabrera. He's a switch hitter. Fuck, man, that how exciting that would be to have two switch hitters, Cabrera, Dominguez, a lefty catcher. Oh man, I'm having mental orgasms thinking about it. Look at all the lineup flexibility that can that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, if you ever watch this, spend a little bit of that money, bro. Get a house, get all these kids in there with you with your hitting coach, and go to work this off season. I don't want Volpe hitting 210. I don't want Peraza hitting 230. These guys they're capable of more. I know Volpe can hit
Yeah.
260. I know Peraza can hit 280, 300. I know Pereira can hit 260. These guys can hit. Like, I want to see it.
Yeah. Um, I've seen a lot of stuff about Stanton's, not only his, sprint speeds decreased, his bat speed, even though he still hits bombs, his bat speed's down like 3 miles per hour. And he's got to go out to like drive line or something and really work on that. If he can still hit lefties, which he always has, but every day I look down, it's another 0 for 4, and then he'll sprinkle in a home run every like sixth game. It's just a detriment to the lineup, and he can't run. You need to be able to run.
Yeah, like I would love for them to. I think honestly, and my gut is telling me that they're going to explore. They're going to explore trying to move Stanton this offseason. They're going to try. It's not going to happen, or if they do happen, if it does happen, it's going to be one of those like, holy shit, they really ate 90% of that contract to move this man. That's I think the only way it will work. But we're stuck with him. So like to me, I'm not even. I don't even care about Stanton. Is like the such a forethought in my mind. Like I would love Stanton to not even be a factor and then end up having a great season because there's no one expecting him to. Like, you have these young kids come up and they start doing well April or May, and then Stanton could probably just take the pressure off and like, all right, maybe I don't have to, hit in the fourth hole, be the cleanup hitter. I can be in the sixth hole, and that can alleviate some of that pressure. So then he could start getting back to his 240, 250, 260 average and revitalize his career, not having to be a run producer, a home run guy, a RBI guy. Let some of these young boys do that. Let Austin Wells be that guy. Let Peraza be that guy. Let my man Volpe be that guy. You feel me? Like, so yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just really wish these kids work this off season and they can learn to hit for average. Fuck that launch angle shit. It's cute. I get it. You probably can get a nice little contract being able to hit 30 runs a year, a season. But do you really want to look up at that scoreboard and have everyone talk saying that you can't hit above 230? Like, I know it's bothering Judge seeing 260. I know it's eating him. I know it's eating him. Like, yo, if I never hit that wall, bro, I'll be hitting over 300 right now.
mm,
Like,
yeah.
all right, we're at the 33-minute mark. We talked a lot about a lot of things. You want to close this out with your closing remarks,
I
counselor?
mean, counselor. I think the best thing that could happen to the Yankees is for the Mets to sign Otani and then be like, "Hey, Dodgers, you know what we did when we missed out on Otani?
We,
We went and got this guy named Stan,
yeah,
and Stan would go to the Dodgers and hit like 50 home runs again, no doubt in my mind. And
yep.
then if the Mets got Otani, then I mean, that wouldn't take them out on Yamamoto, but then the Yankees have a pretty good shot, but I think the Red Sox could be pretty aggressive on Yamamoto too. I think he's going to have a big market.
Yeah, I'll use my closing remarks to say I don't think the Mets are gonna get Yamamoto, because there's this like code or thing against Japanese pitchers
Oh
that they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like to they don't like to go to another team with another Japanese pitcher because they want to be the guy. So I don't think. Then again, money talks. So I'm pretty sure they'll sit there. The Mets and Steve Cohen will sit there and be like, "Yo, I got something for tradition. How about an extra $50 million?" So I can't say I don't think he will go. But he's has been on record saying that he wants to be a Yankee.
Mm,
That
beautiful.
not okay. Let me rephrase that. He is open to being a Yankee. Like that's huge for someone to sit there and say that it's not a no. Like Shohei's a fucking it's a hell no. It's a hell to the no. Like he every time what about the Yankees? Otani's like no. So yeah.
Mm.
So there's a good shot. I think Brian Cashman and Hal just going to Japan, Hal himself getting his ass on the plane and going to Japan and watch the guy pitch. I don't think there's going to be anyone that outbids him besides Steve Cohen, and that's because Steve Cohen likes to play with money like it's monopoly money. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got for you guys this week, guys. I do want to say one last thing, and I'll give you a quick response to it because I just remembered and it was interesting. Shohei Ohtani clearing his locker, disgraceful. To be honest, the fact that yes, you had a season-ending injury, but the fact that you don't even sit on a bench with your teammates and finish out the year, you spent 6 years with these guys. No decency to wait it out, deal with it, give you guys a handshake and a hug and say, all right, guys, it's been a pleasure knowing you, pleasure grinding with you. This shit's a brotherhood. Playing, 8 months out of the year with people and just dipping like that. I don't want the man on my team. Sorry, talent or no talent. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, the Angels are a shit show. Um, you gotta be there for the team even if they're down.
Yep.
Um, you know, losing him to the oblique injury for the rest of the year, getting the surgery, probably not the worst thing, just to get it done and over with at the beginning of when he's going to get this big contract. But you know, it is what it is. But, it was a odd move.
Yeah, it was dumb. I think he just lost himself an easy $50 million by doing something like that, showing that he's a diva and he doesn't care about his teammates. And then the Tommy John is probably another 100 mil. So who knows? Maybe someone will get Shohei Ohtani now for 350 instead of 500.
Oh boy,
It won't be the
I'll
Yankees.
take the difference.
Facts. We can split it. All right, guys. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for another great episode. We are out of here. Until next week. Thank you. If you made it all the way this far, you're a goat. Appreciate you guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys want to do this offseason. Do you like some of the things we said? Do you think the Yankees need to change their hitting philosophy? Let us know in the comments below. All right, guys. Peace.
Aaron Judge! Aaron Judge!